have got a lot of advice from a lot of people over the years. And I heard Carol Sharpless talk one time about racing. She's a professional triathlete. And I'm just going to tell you straight out what she did at Ironman Wisconsin one year. She was on the run. She thinks what happened is she ingested some kind of bad bacteria during the swim. And so she basically spent the run, porta potty to porta potty, trying to clean herself up because she was going number 2 the whole entire the run. And her thing was, number 1, a lot of pros quit. They will quit if they know they're not going to win because they don't want to risk injury or, whatever, because this is what they do for a living. She did not feel that way. She felt as if, I'm a pro triathlete, I have sponsors, she's also a coach. She's like, I have athletes who are out there on the race course as well. Her thing is, and I kind of agree with this, is like, unless you are going to die, you just keep finishing that race. You finish. And yeah, you might injure yourself, but I think back to that story about Carol and how many, I think I'd probably quit if I was pooping myself. I just got to be honest. But for her to say, she had people she needed to answer to. And that was important to her to show them, listen, I'm not dying. I can finish this thing. So that's kind of an extreme example, I know. But it is hard. And I've never quit a race. I know athletes who have, for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. But don't quit unless you really have to. I was telling Tali that I had 2 flat tires at Chattanooga one year, and I kind of thought, I'm done. I'm done. It's raining. I've got my second flat tire out here. But then I'm like, why? I came all the way here. All my friends are out here. Yeah, they're going past me as I'm changing my tire. It's all good. But there's no reason to quit. In my head, it's because I knew I wasn't going to have my fastest time. But you know what? I'm so glad I didn't quit.
How big are you?
I was going to say, just some things with injury. A lot of times you probably know about the injury before you hit the race. And so preparation and planning will help you to see somebody, get help for that injury before you get it so you can manage it. Maybe reset some expectations if it's going to be something that you either maybe redirect to another race or maybe change your training strategy so you can finish it. So you can do things like that. If it probably happens during the race and it's not really been there before, you can probably judge it by then if you're going to be able to get through the race or whatever and how important it is to you.
Yeah.
Too. If you are not able to take a step, you probably think, well, it's not worth it that much, so I'll just plan better next time.
And if you can hobble across the line,
but if you can hobble across it and you're willing to take a break,
it's also hurt and injured. It's also hurt. Hurt is you got pain. Injured is you need medical attention.
Yeah.
So if you're injured, there's not a whole lot that can be done for you injured. Hurt, there's a lot you can do. Versus, one thing I noticed, what was one thing that Coach Marty had in herself with both flat tires and the other things? What's one thing that they have to have in yourself to be able to complete after seeing people pass you and you know you got to complete the race? Hey, you want that? You have to have what? A belief in yourself, confidence.
Yeah, that's when you need it the most.
Yeah,
flat tires and rain. A lot of self-talking out there. Right there.
Pooping station to station. You have to have confidence in your finish. Because when you get to the finish line, you're reeking, I'm sure. You have to have confidence in yourself. And self-efficacy. And we throw that word out. But and it's simply, how do you judge yourself? What do you think of you? During the race, in life, everything. How do you feel about yourself? A lot of that is based on your confidence level. When that guy walks in the room, that pro player, he's got a high judgment of himself. He's thinking, hey, I'm the man up here. Where's my free stuff? Yeah. Okay, let me sign. Okay, here you go, kid. Okay, hey, mom. They know that they have that self-confidence. They have a high self-efficacy. They judge themselves highly. Then you have those who, if you see them watch a basketball game, the games that are on, you'll see them miss a shot, they sink, their face goes down. You can kind of tell, oh, it's game over. Yeah, they're done. Because they already told themselves, they judged themselves, this thing's over. In a race, you can reverse that, get that self-confidence back, go and make it. I'm going to change these tires. I'm not going to get my personal best, but I'm going to finish the race. Self-confidence, efficacy, how do I feel about myself?
During
the testing race on the bike, I was convinced I was the last biker on the field. And there was such negative self-talk going on because I just was convinced I was the last biker, but I wasn't. But I didn't know. And you're there by yourself, and you see the car go by. And it was like such negative self-talk, just thinking I was the last biker. I was just like, oh well.
And you know, back on the confidence thing, and back on one of the things one of you talked about is it's not necessarily thinking you're last, but kind of giving up when you get past. And I kind of, okay, we'll talk about me for a minute. All right, so when you get past, again, it's back to, have you done the training? Do you have the confidence in yourself? And is that person even in your age group? Do you even care? How many times have we been at the finish line where you're either watching or you're experiencing it yourself? It's so funny to be like a female, run into the finish line, and then some dude just has to go and just blow by you, you know? Or like age. Sometimes like I'll see some older person like blow by this like 14-year-old, you know? It's so funny. But when you get past, again, kind of like what Mike said, is you need to worry about you. You're only out there competing against yourself until you're a pro, and then, you know, you'll have somebody much more experienced giving this talk. But you just worry about you, and you just do the best you can do, and just let that person go, because you may pass them later on down the road. That's what's really hard about Ironman, and one of the big mistakes people make at Ironman is when you show up for Ironman and you're trained and you're ready to go and you're prepared, you've done all your things, you go out on the swim, you come out of the swim feeling fantastic, and you get on that bike and you feel great. And the typical mistake people make is they go out way too hard at the beginning of the bike ride, and you've got 112 miles that you've got to do, and then you've got 26 miles. But you feel great, and it's so hard to have the confidence to dial it back a little bit at the beginning and just let those people pass you, because you're going to get them at mile 75, 85, 95, 105. You're going to see those people.
Someone in the Olympic Games, a few Olympics ago, was running one of the sprints. They got out to a great start. They got scared. Oh my God. Because when they picked their head up, they were by themselves. Immediately they thought, I need to slow down. They did. In a sprint. In the Olympics. 2 races in 4 years. This person was in the finals. In a sprint. In the Olympics. They slowed down. Then they figured, guess what? I can go faster. When they tried to start back up, they caught. They took 4th. 1 spot off the podium. If they had just ran their own race, what they trained for 4 years, to win what that person was doing at the time that they thought about it, not caring about Steve who got running, Mario's done this 100 times, they would have won the race. Gold. Wheaties box.
Sweet.
Right. So, who cares who passes you? Who cares who doesn't pass you? It may not be their day to race with. It's you. So,
I've got a few of my favorite quotes that I want to share with you guys. And you've probably heard these, so just humor me. Okay, Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This Chloe Sutton she's a big time swimmer. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when you move out, you guys who did my track workout program, you heard me say this a few times. When you start moving out of your comfort zone, that's when you start to make improvements. You guys who did my track workout program, you know the improvements you made. Okay, here's 2 from Eleanor Roosevelt. You can often change your circumstances by changing your attitude. And the next one is, what could we accomplish if we knew we could not fail? Okay, a very fantastic person turned me on to this book that I would encourage you guys to check into. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And there's a lot of real important stuff in there. A lot, I'm not a big self-help book person, but I thought this one was great. It's a real quick read, too. He talks about these things that are like easy to do and easy not to do. Because those of you guys who work with me know I'm all big on core strength workouts. And you can do these workouts like 20 minutes each day. They're easy to do. They're also easy to skip. So the other thing he talks about are goals. And having a goal and doing something little each day to achieve your goal. Okay? You guys have heard me talk about the Mari 3-year plan, which actually kind of turned into the 4-year plan. But Mari's 3-year plan was to leave my job and be a full-time coach. And I tried to do, and this is before I read the book, but I had that goal, and I wanted it, and I did a lot of things that were uncomfortable to get to that goal. And I made it. So, I'm not too far into it yet, so it could all blow up in my face, but, so that book is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Check it out. And just one other thing, somebody, actually JD, told me today, because I told her we were going to be doing this. And one of the things, this is all her idea. Okay, I'm not taking any credit. She and her mom do this thing called the Grateful List. Each day, they write down something at the end of the day that they're grateful for. And so what that has turned into for her is spending the day thinking positively and thinking, what am I going to write down at the end of the day? So now she's looking for positive stuff rather than looking for negative stuff. And it's just totally shifted her thinking. Her and her mom just started doing this, and she just wanted me, she brought it up, and I just thought that was a good thing to share with you guys. That's what I want to leave you with. But feel free to ask questions. I know it's a little after 9, so.
When the going gets tough.
Finish that up, Harriet.
Up, good going.
There you go. There you go.
Well, the other one of that, what's his name? I think it was Matt Mann. He was a very famous swim coach in Indiana. I love this one. A diamond with a lump of coal that's stuck with it.